Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode here on Gladiator Disc Golf. Today, we're talking about probably one of the most confounding things in all of disc golf, flight numbers. Before we start talking about the flight numbers in disc golf, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Alrighty, let's talk about flight numbers. Okay, so in all of disc golf, we see that these discs, a lot of discs have 4 numbers on them. Okay, even companies that were formerly doing just a 1-number system like Discraft, and I even think Millennium for a while did a 1-number system and maybe still does. There's a 4-number system that Innova has kind of spearheaded over the decades of disc golf and in recent years with these flight numbers. So it's kind of confusing, and what I wanted to do with this video was just talk to you about flight numbers that a lot of companies use and how you can kind of figure them out a little bit and what each of them mean, because it's a very difficult process, and here's why. There's no system established by the PDGA to say a speed number needs to fit these requirements. A glide, a turn, a fade needs to fit these requirements. So the entire numbering system is up to the manufacturers, and it's kind of it's based on what the manufacturers think their disc is flying like, and you know, that's not necessarily bad, but it leaves a lot to be desired because it doesn't necessarily translate between manufacturers. So let's go ahead and let's dive deeper into this. Now, the 4 flight numbers are speed is your first number in the series of 4, then glide, then turn, and then fade. Now when it comes to speed, alright, the speeds vary between 1 and 14. It's to my knowledge that there is not a disc out there yet with a speed 15. The fastest is a speed 14. And like I said, the PDGA hasn't said what specifies as speed, so it's all based on rim width, or what some people call wing length. Now, speed is how fast a disc can travel, but it's more than that, because we can interpret speed as also the power necessary to make a disc fly its predicted flight path. For example, I have here a big sexy Star Destroyer, and this is from Joe Mess Pro. Super cool disc, only thrown in a handful of times. Kind of it was a one of their Christmas mystery boxes I got in, and I don't really throw destroyers, they're a little too fast for me, but really cool stamp. But for this example, a destroyer is 12 speed, 5 glide, minus 1 turn, and 3 fade. So that 12 speed tells me that I really need to get this disc up to speed if I want to see it glide at a 5, turn at a minus 1, and fade at a 3. Because what happens is if I don't get it up to speed, I'm not going to see that minus 1 turn. I'm just going to see that 3 fade, and even then that 3 fade might look more like a 5 fade. Alright? And if I overpower it, meaning I throw it faster than necessary for a 12 speed, I'm going to see it turn more. So it's going to fly past its intended characteristics. And so that's why speed is important, and that's why I've always interpreted speed as also the power necessary for the disc, because it's more than just how fast it goes, it's what you need to put behind it in order for it to fly its intended path. Now, I'm going to include a couple website links in the description. Make sure you check them out if you want a little bit more information. The PDGA publishes the discs that it has approved, so you can go all the way back to the 60s to see the discs that the PDGA has approved, and it's a really cool thing to look at. Real quick side note, there have been a lot of discs over the last couple months, especially, that are being posted. If you guys want to see videos where I kind of look at this page and I talk about some up-and-coming discs from some well-known companies or not well-known companies and talk about the specifications, if that's something you're interested in, make sure you like this video so that I know that that's something that you guys want to see. Alrighty, so how exactly do we get the speed measurement? How does a company say this is a 1 speed or a 14 speed and everything in between? Well, it's a thing called rim width or wing length. It's just really based on preference what you want to call it, but it's this part of the disc right here. It's how wide this chunk of the disc is, and as you can see, a destroyer has a pretty wide rim, whereas a putter is going to have a much thinner rim. This rim width is going to impact the speed rating of the disc. A destroyer has a speed 12. A destroyer's rim width is 2.2 centimeters, okay? So keep that in mind why I mentioned the 2.2 centimeters, because we're going to talk about that here in just a second. This is not a perfect system, but with a grain of salt, you can kind of interpret speeds by going every single millimeter. So what I mean is a 1 speed would be about 1 centimeter, or somewhere between 0.9 and 1.1 centimeters. A 2 speed would be about 1.2 centimeters, 3 speed 1.3, a 5 speed 1.5, 7 speed 1.7, a 10 speed would be about 2.0, 12 speed would be about 2.2, and all the numbers in between. I don't want to sit here and just rattle them off. I'll include a chart here to help you guys understand that a little bit better and to see what I'm talking about, but pretty much every millimeter gives about 1 speed more on the flight number rating. So that is speed, guys. The intro to the flight numbers and speed, it's a lot to talk about in just one video, so I'm going to be making this into 2 videos. Part 2, we'll talk about glide, turn, and fade, because they don't have nearly as many nuances and effects. Speed really is affected the most here when we're talking about the flight numbers. So I hope you found this video super helpful. Please make sure that you have subscribed, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And until next time, guys, have a great round.